So today we're talking about the new Netflix drama horror supernatural show Locke Key, which is based on a 2008 comic book series which was created by Joe Hill. Yes, the same Joe Hill who is the son of Stephen King. And after watching this show, I could definitely see some of the Stephen King isms in it, whether it be it or even a show on Netflix like The Haunting of Hill House or Stranger Things or even Pixar's Inside Out. With all that being said, is it worth checking out? Is it worth pressing play and watching it on Netflix? Well, we're going to talk about that and much more. Locke Key revolves around three siblings who, after the murder of their father, move to their ancestral home only to find the house has magical keys that give them a vast array of powers and abilities. Little do they know, a devious demon also wants the keys and will stop at nothing to obtain them. Hey everybody, Elliot here from Movie Files, back with a brand new review for Locke Key. Before we dive into this review, definitely consider subscribing to my channel. Hit that bell so you can stay up to date with my latest videos. And if and when you've seen this show on Netflix, let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Did you like it? Did you not like it? For those that have read the comic book series, let me know that this Netflix show do that comic book series justice. Did you like the comics more than the show? Did you like the show more than the comics? Let me know in the comments below. So as I do with all my Netflix original TV shows, I like to spend the first couple minutes giving you all my non-spoiler thoughts of the show. For those that haven't seen it, I'll let you know what I thought, if it's worth checking out, all that fun stuff. And then once you've seen the show, then you can watch the second half of this video, which is more on the spoilers, diving into my likes, my dislikes, kind of doing a more of a discussion more than anything. So for those that have seen the show, that's going to be where we're going to break down all the spoilers. So let's jump into the non-spoiler aspect of this video and talk about kind of my overall thoughts. So first and foremost, you have this show is based on a comic book run by Joe Hill, who is the son of Stephen King. And that's some of the things I really enjoyed about this series, was kind of those elements of Stephen King type of movie or shows or books, I should say, where the big one is, well, two really. I can see a little bit of Stand By Me because it has the kind of the kids on the journey, you know, dealing with adult type of situations. And then that definitely has vibes of It because you have this echo demon that's manipulating certain people, very similar to how Pennywise manipulated, what was it, Harry or Harvey or Henry Bowers, if I'm not mistaken. It kind of had those moments. And that's what I really liked about this show was the adults were fine, but it's really the kids and the teenagers that are dealing with these keys and learning the abilities of the keys. And really my favorite character out of those band of Locke characters or the Locke family is Brody. Again, it's so funny when you see these supernatural movies and shows that somebody from It, from the cast of It, the kids in particular, or someone from Stranger Things will make some type of appearance. And that is the case with this show. The kid that played Georgie in the first It and also Chapter 2 is Brody in this show. And he was my favorite character because again, I like when especially since Stranger Things and for a long time, and Goonies, going back to when I saw the Goonies for the first time, whenever you put kids, especially kids at a younger age, in these situations, it's always kind of cool to see it in their eyes, see it in their perspective. You know, how Brody was very, you know, he was scared at first, especially when he met the Echo demon, but, you know, he was smart, you know, and I hate when shows and movies let the little kids not be able to join in when they are the ones that know more than the adults and the teenagers. So Brody was my favorite character, if you all want to know, but the other characters were fine. And now speaking on, you know, some of the acting of the show, I thought the acting was okay. There was no really like, oh man, that was an amazing acting moment. Everyone brought their A game for the most part, but nothing really blew me away from the cast as far as, you know, the acting goes. But for the most part, like I said, I liked most of the cast members. Other things I liked about the show is, again, whenever they explored, when the kids and the teenagers, the Locke family and their friends and everyone that was kind of involved in the scenario, whenever we learned about a new key and its abilities, that's when the show was really at its best. You know, I don't want to give too much away. I'm going to talk about it in my spoiler review, but some of these keys, man, the Omega key, the Echo key, the Anywhere key, the Ghost key, the Head key, the Shadow key. I mean, there's so many keys in this show, and I'm looking at all these keys from the book, and a lot of these we haven't even approached yet. If we get a season 2, I'd imagine we meet some of these new abilities and keys, but it was just so cool. You know, that's the kid in me that just loves adventurous stories, you know, and some of these keys taking you anywhere in the world or jumping inside of your own head reminded me of Inside Out a lot. That's when the show to me was at its best, when it explored these keys and just gave you some fun, adventurous moments. Now getting into a little bit of my criticisms before I give you my overall thoughts and get to the spoilers. I can see how this premise and this idea from this comic book it sounds fascinating, but some of the stuff in the show was very ambitious, but I thought the execution was kind of poor. In particular, it is a horror supernatural show. I know horror, being scared is very subjective, just like comedy, things of that nature. But I did not find this show to be scary whatsoever. It is TV-14, so probably younger teenagers, younger kids, they might be afraid of some of the demons, some of the ghosts. I can see that. But, I didn't think it was scary. I compared it to It and The Haunting on Hill House and Stranger Things. It's nowhere near as suspenseful, as scary or horrific or supernatural elements as those shows. I can see what they were going for, but I just felt like if this show was a little bit more darker, it didn't have to be rated R, it doesn't have to be cursing or blood, but I wish that the show just pushed the envelope a little bit more because it had potential to be scary. And for those that read the comic books, I don't know if the comics are a lot scarier than this, because I found this to be very kind of bland in the scary realm. Also, speaking about the realm of scares and the keys in the house, there's not that much explanation about who the Locke family is, why these keys are calling out to them, and really what's the situation with the keys, who created the keys, why are they here, who left them behind. We're going to talk about that a little bit more in my spoiler aspect, but there was a lot on the cutting room floor that I think that they just didn't put into the story. Again, I don't know if Joe King dives into that aspect more in the comics. I would imagine so. But it was just a lot of things unanswered. There were some characters I felt that were underdeveloped. Nina being one of them, the mom of the Locke family. I feel like they didn't really know what to do with her. The Sam character, who was supposed to be scary, didn't find him scary at all personally, and kind of him to be kind of funny at times. Like, I don't think he was meant to be a funny character, but I found his lines to be very dry and not delivered properly. And also the Echo Monster, supposed to be intimidating and scary. And sure, for Brody, who seemed to be really the only person that interacted with them for the first half of the season, I feel like the Echo Monster was just kind of there and kind of left and came back and then popped in and out of the season. And we'll talk about that in the second half. But, overall thoughts, guys, at the end of the day, it's a fun series. It has a lot of adventurous moments, cool concept. The score was pretty cool. It was very Goonies vibes. I kind of like the Harry Potter kind of magical feel to the score. The soundtrack wasn't that great, but I liked the score. The scope and scale was pretty good. One thing to say about Netflix is they don't cut the budget short when it comes to the set designs and the CGI. Some of the special effects weren't that great when they were ghosts, but for the most part, it looked good. So would I recommend you all checking it out? I would say yes. I would love to know your thoughts for those that read the comic book series, what you thought of this show. But for the most part, I enjoyed it for the most part. But there were some moments and there's some episodes that I thought were cringeworthy. We're going to talk about that a little bit later. So overall thoughts, check it out. And when you do, let me know what you thought of it. So now let's jump into these spoilers, guys. So full warning, this is a spoiler kind of breakdown discussion, more in-depth thoughts of what I thought of the show in a spoiler manner. So let's just jump right into it. So let's talk about that finale, right? So we find out pretty much everything, and everything would happen. We find out that the Echo Demon is, Luke is, we found out that the episode before, but we find out more about it, how he came back to Ellie and it was in the form of the Echo Monster, and that the whole time Gabe was the Echo Monster, or the Echo Demon, which will be a very interesting kind of concept, and see how Kinsey handles that information in season 2. If we inevitably do get a season 2, Netflix is kind of weird. Some shows you think is going to come back and then cancel it. So we'll see what happens with the show, but I would imagine it's going to get picked up for a second season. But, the finale felt rushed. It was 40 minutes, and we, most of the answers were answered in regards to our main storyline and in regards to what's going to happen with this character and that character, what's going to happen with the Locke family and this and that nature. So, I would say that the finale was okay. It was fine. There were some moments that I kind of thought were a little cheesy, but, I thought the finale was okay. But the big reveal, again, was that Gabe was the Echo Monster, the demon, throughout the entire series. So I thought that was a really cool reveal. I didn't see that coming, even though there were some weird moments with Gabe, but I didn't think that was going to be the big moment. So let's get into this discussion here. Overall, really the biggest thing that I did not like about this show, and I'll talk about the positives here in a bit, but I thought that the story was just kind of bland at times. Again, you have this Locke family, you find out about Randall, how he died from Sam, which I was not a fan of Sam. We'll talk about him in a bit, but, we get all that stuff, figuring out, why they moved to this town. But really, I don't think the show did a good job of explaining the supernatural elements. You find out a little bit. They throw hints at it throughout the season that they might be witches and warlocks, the Locke family, and that's why the keys are calling them. But the show really didn't dive deep. At least I didn't see it. Let me know if I'm wrong, but they didn't really dive into who created these keys and why the Locke family are witches and warlocks, and is that confirmed? Who built this house? What is all, why is this magic taking place? Let me know if I missed something, guys. Again, this might be one of those situations where season 1 kind of gives you the broad strokes, and season 2 dives deeper into the flashbacks, into the backstory of the Locke family, and you get those moments. But I thought that kind of was lacking from the show, was just kind of understanding the situation. There were some characters that I wasn't a fan of. One being Sam. I thought Sam was one of the most underwritten characters in the show, and I thought he was. I normally like to call out actors, but I thought that the actor that played Sam was not that great. He kind of came off for me very cartoonish and very laughable. Like, I don't think we were supposed to laugh at Sam, but some of those line deliveries I found to be very cringeworthy. Yes, you get familiar storylines from Sam, the kid that was kind of neglected at school, ignored at home, abused at home, and you kind of feel bad for him. But then they just kind of, the way the show handles Sam, I would imagine he'll come back in later seasons, but the way they handled him, I thought was kind of lackluster. Speaking of Sam, has a very, close connection to the Echo Demon, who, again, I mentioned in my non-spoiler portion, I didn't think her or it or the demonic creature to be that intimidating. I did like the idea that they were Gabe and they were Lucas, but again, the show, there was, in the beginning of the show, I'm like, wow, she's very manipulative. She's very kind of dangerous. I feel worried for Brody because no one, again, the shows like this, the little kid, the youngest kid knows everything that's going around, but the teenagers and adults don't want to listen to Brody, even though he knows everything. But, it was that episode where she got I believe it was the head key or the fire, whatever the fire key was, where she killed a kid. She threw him in front of a train, which we never addressed that again. But I was like, okay, this Echo Demon's really, really, she's terrible. We should be afraid of her. But as the season went by, she just became cartoonish, very similar to Sam's character. So I don't know. Let me know if I'm being a little bit too overcritical about Sam and Echo Demon. Let me know if you all like those characters. I personally didn't. Another character that I thought to be a little underwritten and kind of the show didn't really know what to do with her was Nina. Nina's kind of, her arc was she wanted to figure out about her husband and his history, the Omega sign, why did everyone have the little, scars, and she had that to do, but I just feel like she was always in the background, and whenever we got to her, I feel like that's when whenever we didn't spend time with Brody and the kids figuring out the supernatural elements and the abilities of keys, that's when I thought the show was just kind of like wonky in regards to the writing, and not as strong as those supernatural elements in regards to the mysteries of the keys and figuring out the abilities of the keys. And whenever we went to Nina and dealing with her and her, her being an alcoholic or a past alcoholic, and her dealing with this, I don't know, is it a romantic thing with this cop that they were trying to hint at that might be explored in further seasons? I don't know. I just found Nina to be a little underwhelming, and whenever we went to her, it was kind of uninteresting. Other characters, supporting characters, were fine. I really enjoyed Scott. I felt bad that Kinsey kind of left him in the back burner for the Gabe character. Again, I can understand her being a teenager and him giving her attention, which was, obviously the Echo Demon kind of manipulating her in her sense. But I felt bad for Scott. I liked him, but the other supporting characters were just fine. They were just there. They really didn't have much to do, which this just randomly came to my mind. Did anyone ever find that fear demon of Kinsey? Are they still just running around and they're going to just kind of, what happened? I don't know. Let me know if they addressed that. I know that she ran away after she attacked that one girl, but I don't know. And it'll be interesting to see the main kind of the human bully of the school now that she has the demon attached to her, and they're going to be working with Echo Monster. We'll see how that goes. But I spend a lot of time speaking on the negatives and kind of having that discussion with you all, having a venting session if you want to call it that. But again, I did enjoy this show. Again, I thought that the abilities of the keys were really awesome. The Omega Key, the Echo Key, the Head Key, all that stuff was really, really cool. But I just thought that the show just left a lot of unanswered questions about the Locke family. Are they warlocks? Why are the keys calling out to them? Why did, I know that the guy, I can't remember his name, but he kills himself because he didn't want someone to find him and to take the keys from him, which, by the way, I know I'm going back to my negatives, but it was so frustrating whenever they would have a key in their possession, they would leave it at home. Like Ellie, she left the crown there. She's like, oh, I have the key here, but let me leave the crown here and let me go get the crown, even though I know that Lucas can potentially be there. But no, I'm going to go ahead and come with, like, why didn't you all just go with her? And why are the keys just being left around? It was just, those were like little, like, detailed things that just kind of frustrated me. But again, let me go back. I enjoyed the fun elements of the show, and I would be interested in seeing a season 2, which I think they will have a season 2 because it's based on a series of comics. So overall, I had a good time with it. There were some episodes that I did not like. There were some teenage moments that I just kind of rolled my eyes. There's some dialogue that I didn't find to be very well written. Some characters I felt to be a little underwritten, such as Sam, Nina, and the Echo Monster, and just explaining the whole situation with the keys. But I watched it. I enjoyed it for the most part. They're 40-minute episodes to 45 minutes episode, 10 episodes, and I would look forward to a season 2. So that's my non-spoiler, spoiler thoughts of Locke and Key. Let me know what you all thought of this series. Give this video a thumbs up. Really, a thumbs up really helps out the channel. On my road to 2,000 subscribers, we're almost there. Help me get over that hump. Like and share, comment below. Like I said, follow me on all my social media accounts, and let me know, for those that watch the show, if you liked it. Do you want to see a season 2? And if you read the comics, did you enjoy this series as much as the comics, or did it do it a little underserving the comics from those that have read it? So thank you all again for watching this review. I will be having more reviews coming up pretty soon, such as the latest episode of The Outsider. I have my review for Birds of Prey on my channel now. I will be reviewing or doing my spoiler review pretty soon, so check that out. Again, thank you all for watching this review, and we'll see you in the next video.